How's the defense looking? Down out Portland State, what do you guys got to be ready for?
They look good. We're just want to make sure that everybody's healthy and get them to the fight and let them loose. And so, we got film from last year, but they got a new quarterback, and you can always change some things. And they got a lot of O linemen back, and so we always expect that you maybe get another O lineman in the game, like a sixth O lineman, some unbalanced stuff. So we just got to be ready for all those types of situations, but trying to cover them with the guys and kind of honed in on the game plan now, which is cutting out a lot of the stuff that we normally wouldn't run, and it's been good for the kids to focus in on that.
How's Matt Hadley's transition been? Has it been just seamless, or?
Yeah, it's been. I mean, he's just a good ball player. I thought he did good enough at running back to stay there, and he was our starting safety. But just with things kind of happening, we decided to move him to the backer, and just it's been good. He fits in, I think, anywhere on the field.
Is it just a high football IQ, a guy that just understands concepts?
Yeah, he's a really, really good ball player. Good ball player, just smart, savvy kid.
What do you think, you guys in the staff, not just necessarily this year, but in other places you've been, why do you think you've been able to have so much success moving guys to different positions and having him work out like that?
Wow, that's a hard question. I don't know. You just kind of see something and want to try it out, and if it ends up working, then really I think it's just really about getting the best guys on the field. That's probably the better answer. With all the safeties that are really good players that are on the bench, it's really just the answer. The question for us is, the next guy up at the backer spot, is he going to be better than one of the safeties sitting on the bench? And so I think really the question really was only with Hadley, because he was really, really physical. I mean, Chaz too has ended up playing the backup behind Fred, which is, I think, a natural position for him, which pretty much is a safety spot anyways in our defense. And so, made the moves, feel comfortable about the depth there, and just moving on with it.
Personnel-wise, you guys pretty much full strength?
Yeah, nicks and bruises, just like normal camp. But yeah, I think that we'll have everybody back the way that we need.
Do you sense that anything's been ramped up from the players' perspective with it actually being game week?
Yeah, I'm getting into scout teams and actually playing some Portland State scheme, which is way different from our offense. I mean, you can see kind of it's refreshing for them to really talk ball again, because we started to get bored knowing we've been playing each other for a long time, just kind of getting bored, and so it's been good and refreshing for them to get a different scheme and cut the menu down as far as what we're going to call on defense, and letting them just hone in on specific things has been good.
What do you expect to see from Portland State's offense on Saturday?
I think it's hard because they got a young quarterback who could run, and so I think offensively, if you're on their side, you want to protect the young quarterback. You don't want to do too many 5 steps. Sprint outs, move the pocket a little bit, and just run the heck out of the ball. I think is the way to protect the young quarterback, and so that's what we're expecting, and we'll just have to adjust accordingly as we see how the game's going.
How's the scout team handling simulating that as a guy who kind of looks at that? Because it is kind of a unique. Some of the stuff they do offensively is a little bit different, a little bit unique.
Yeah. The biggest thing is just the quarterback, and so right now we've got Cody Wilstead over helping us out, and he's been good for us in Skelly and all that. But we try to get Austin Confensis to come over and run. We'll take Morgan Unga over on the offensive side and run quarterback, and just give us a look at somebody who can actually run, And so we've got some guys that'll give us a good look that way.
Has there been a guy on the defensive line that's really stood out to you through fall camp?
They're all making steady, consistent improvement. I thought Handsome and Kesney are just really consistent. That's the biggest thing between the first, the second, and the third is just consistency. And so, a guy like Kairos, who is physically, I think, probably the farthest ahead, just the nuances of the game, understanding things. Handsome Tanielu, as well as Kesney Tausinga and Meti Taliuli, though their experience, I think, is really what trumps what the other guys are doing. And so, we'll continue to bring along the guys like Kairos, who are physically just ready to play, and then rely on the guys with a lot of experience to just continue to be consistent.
What is it about Kairos that you think he needs to do to take that next step to earn more playing time?
Just get more reps. Yeah, he's just got to get more reps and keep getting better and see more football. Again, he hasn't played since his junior year in high school, so and also he wasn't playing interior D-line, which was it's a complete different ball game for a kid like that. And he was like 240 back then. Now he's like 340. So I mean, a lot of things changed. He still moves like he's 240, which is really, really exciting. But he just needs more reps, and it's going to take some time. We might really start to see just a really, really good player, 6-7 games into the season, and that's other good players, young players that we've seen. It happens for them like that. Sometimes second year, sometimes game 6 or 7. So, we'll bring them along though. That's the plan.
We always hear people talking about setting the tone. What type of tone do you want to set defensively in this first game?
The tone?
Yeah.
Oh, depends on the key. All right, if you're in C minor, no, I'm just kidding. We're just going to come out and hopefully pick up where we left off. I think that's really what it is. And I think a lot of times you start to say you're going to do something, or when it doesn't happen, a lot of people have questions, right? This is the plan, this is what we're going to do, and this is the plan if this doesn't work, and we're just going to continue to fight through adversity. I think that's probably the biggest message and tone for us is be ready for adversity and just fight. And don't be surprised if we're winning by 50, and don't be surprised if we're down by 7. Just be ready to go and compete and put a good product out there.
Adam Pulsifer will get a bigger role this year. How do you think he'll do? And
we need him to win is the bottom line, and so he's competing at the Mike spot as well as the Bo spot, and we feel comfortable that he knows the defense enough where he can play those 2 spots, and so he'll definitely have some snaps and he'll have a role in the defense. And attitude-wise, he's been awesome. He's an ultimate team player. He's a guy that believes in himself, and which is good. You want that, and he'll definitely take some snaps off of some other guys as well as have an opportunity to play. We lost Butch last year in West Virginia, and Adam had to step in, and the same thing with other guys. So one guy goes down, he has to be ready. He's a guy that we're depending on that way as well as to continue to push for a starting spot.
Where is Mo at today versus where he was when he came in for the first day camp?
He's come along. He's come along. I think yesterday somebody asked the question, and I think realistically, if you're a fan, plan on him, maybe taking snaps in 2 years. But he'll play on special teams right now because we can kind of make his assignment specific, but it's really, really difficult. I mean, we're gonna continue to teach him and bring him along, but also at the same time, guys like Kairos and Solo Wolfgram and Lorenzo Fawatam, and those guys are getting better too, and so when you say when's he going to be on the field, it's all relative to his competition as well. We got a lot of young. I mean, Keanu Saleapongo's redshirting as well as Alden Tofa. They're going to come back, and they're going to be looking for time. There's only so many snaps you can give to the first and second stringers, and so I think he's coming along. He'll get better. But as far as being a guy who we can depend on to put out there and play, I think he's a few years away. But we love his progress so far, and it's a great attitude, and he's funny, like funny kid. So fun to be around.
Is he one of the players you're asked about the most?
He is. Him and Kairos so far. When Kairos starts playing, it'll probably just be Mo the whole time.
So, see on the field goal units, is that where you're going to use him?
Yeah,
Okay.
field goal block. Okay. That's where we'll get some snaps out of him, and hopefully we can get a couple block kicks, with him and Corbin, Kiefer Longs, and some other guys that we can just throw in there. Big, tall guys, Austin Hoyt. Hopefully we can get some blocks.
You might have addressed this. He stepped in a second late, but how much fun is it to put together a depth chart when you're putting 3 guys at a lot of the positions and you just have that amount of depth?
Probably more comforting than anything, because you always worry about a guy going down. It can happen just like that. Your season changes because a guy goes down and you're just not as comfortable. So, I mean, it's nice to have depth.
What went into the decision to have Chaz Ahu play kind of that linebacker, maybe even some nickel?
We lost Morgan for a couple of days, and he was banged up, and we just didn't feel like the guys that were behind him were ready yet. Decided maybe that we'd probably end up redshirting a guy here or there, and so Chaz we knew was going to play. He's again another safety, good safety that's sitting on the bench while the other starting safeties are out there, and so. Best way to try to get Chaz on the field, because I think he's a good player, is move him to Fred's spot, which is a safety spot. Fred just happens to be a really, really big safety. And so you look at the guys behind him, we've used Grant Jones as well as Morgan Unga, tall, lengthy guys that can run. That's a spot, and I think Chaz fits in perfectly there.
else?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.